Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Twilight Princess playthrough, commentary, whatever. In this part, we're getting spat out of the sky, and now we're going to go back to the town. Yay!
We're gonna scare everyone.
For
My
for as kind
favorite
of
part.
for as kind of badly aged as the environmental graphics are, the actual locations you visit in this game are really quite striking. Even so,
Is striking. I still think they look very
I
low
mean,
res.
I mean, low res is one thing, but the actual locations. But what I mean is like important locations within the game, and there are a lot of them, as opposed to like corridors of cliff faces that are identical and not very interesting.
I don't know. I can't really give this game too much credit graphically in a lot of aspects, mostly because of a particular game that came out almost 2 years before this one called Resident Evil 4, which does a lot of the same visual art style
Yeah,
choices, but looks so much better.
That
yeah.
game also, though, is a very linear game, whereas
Yes.
this is a very open-ended game. And
Yes,
it's
no,
generally-
I agree it's a different game, and that's why it's done the way it is, but
I've never played Resident Evil at all, so like I don't have that sort of perspective on it, but I do think that at least the concepts for the areas are very nice, even though they are a little bit muddy at times.
It was a generation.
It's something
early,
I
think,
feel
is the problem.
ironically looks better in its original standard definition
yes.
because HD makes it reveals the
You,
flaws.
yeah, you
more
see the
obviously.
seams a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
If it were more of a remake as opposed to a remaster,
Yeah.
it probably would help.
It's the same reason why 8-bit and 16-bit games look better on a CRT.
It's when I say the locations are striking, I mean stuff more like, okay, there's Link's house, there's the opening village, which a lot of care was put into, and there's the spirit fountain, which has a nice bit of detail going on,
I love the
or
spirit fountain.
when you get into an actual dungeon and that sense of scope is in full play, as opposed to a section like here where we're just in sort of an anonymous. Well, this is the area outside Link's house. Actually, we just can't see anything because it's dark. But when we're just like in an anonymous forest area or out on the plains where the only real detail is, oh look, another cliff face or another tree, and there might be a bug on this tree, you should probably, look at every tree very closely in case there's a bug there. But it's the same 10 trees, no, not even 10 trees, like 5 trees or something.
Yeah, but I get what you mean in that the environments in this game were very carefully put together. It's just that they were carefully put together with GameCube models. you
Well,
know?
yeah, that's a thing. But even on the GameCube, when there's care put into the detail of an area, it can look really, really nice. It's for that exact reason that more content dense games like Shenmue or the Yakuza series. Well, those are basically the same kind of thing. Content dense games like those, and there are certainly others, but I'm not thinking of any off the top of my head at the moment. Those kind of games have a lot put into them. Another one is another good example is Silent Hill, which we did a while ago, where when you're out in the town, the most detail you can hope for is that there are individualized buildings, which is nice, but for the most part it's mostly just an open space made of polygons and fog. But then when you get into an indoor section like the school or someone's house or the boat on the docks, suddenly there's like a metric shit ton of detail thrown into the environments because the area is enclosed and they don't have to worry about it taking too much system resources to lovingly render like the ship's wheel or the life preserver on the wall or whatever's on the desk, that kind of thing. And you get a lot of that kind of stuff around the town, or in Link's house, or, in the dungeons where every room is supposed to be unique. But when all you're looking at graphically turns out to be the floor and the trees, gets a little samey. What in the
Guys,
hell?
you've never seen a wolf before? Jesus.
Now, if it was a goat, it'd be fine. Jeez, Link, why couldn't you transform into a goat?
Because Link, hero of goats, does not
Yeah, come
have
on, just picture the box art. You got the hero of time on the left, just a random goat on the right.
I mean,
if you're a goat, then they'd be running towards you, trying to wrangle you back into the barn instead.
yeah,
of
people
away
would be
from you.
whooping at you, John.
You'd be super wrestling the mayor way
Oh
too
no,
early.
the dreaded whoop.
You see, this guy is supposed to be like the wimpy guy in town, but he gets to throw a bird at you, which if Shantae has taught me anything, is that throwing birds at people can be surprisingly
My favorite thing
effective.
about this, though, is that you can talk to this bird later as the wolf, and it apologizes for the attacks.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it.
I have to obey the person who blows the bird-shaped leaf.
Yeah.
Curse that one weakness of mine, the bird-shaped leaf.
I love the
all these
animals in this.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just the fact that you can just turn into a wolf and talk to like every random chicken in the game is amazing.
It's great. I also love how they're all like conspiring against the townspeople too. Like he's just like you can sneak up against this guy and like scare him. No big.
Oh yeah, and our musical instrument of choice this game
Is ourselves.
is
The hit detection for the musical notes is very stupid in this game.
So
Yeah.
you can just sort of
I mean, you
zigzag
can't get worse
aimlessly
than the
around and
harp.
you'll hit everything.
Yeah, it only checks to see if you hit most of a note, which thankfully is helpful for when you're trying to figure out the songs later on in the game for unlocking the special moves.
I would rather it be that way than have it be super sensitive.
Yeah, same.
Personally.
It just leads to a lot of silly things if you want to.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
can make Link "What Is Love Head Bump" all over the place, if you're feeling it, which you should be because it's hilarious. But
I mean, the best instrument is still the ocarina from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, because you can play basically anything you want on it.
yeah, that is true. But at the same time, I always could never remember. I know that this is probably something that many Zelda people are don't have a problem with, because if you've played those games enough times, you have all the songs known by the back of your hand. But as a kid, I always was like, okay, I need to do the Songs of Storms in order to do this. Camera, why the heck are you wigging out at the moment? Okay.
It's cold.
I guess, yeah. I mean, Zelda had to have her hood on after all. But anyway, it's like Song of Storms. Okay, what is it? Gotta check the
I mean,
book. Okay,
I kind
here
of
it
get
is.
that, and it does help if you grew up with the games and like you have it down pat already. But I can definitely feel it because I played a lot of the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time, and
they changed the buttons on you.
completely changed it. It was so stupid. Like,
But on the bright side, with the Ocarina and Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D, you can have the list open while you play
yes,
the song.
that is definitely an upside, but still, it really screws with you if you are so used to the original, and it's just like, the button layout doesn't make sense anymore. I hate it.
I guess it's because they could have used the ABYX buttons as the C buttons, but then I guess there just wouldn't be a button there to exit, I suppose, is the problem. And then
Okay, my argument for that is that you could just have the top three be
the
good,
top three
and then,
C buttons.
Yeah, make the top three C buttons. B is still cancel, but then use L and R for the two lowest notes, and that would have been fine.
Oh yeah, there are only 4 notes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, 5, but
5, yes.
That's did I say 4? Okay.
Yeah.
Confirmed that I don't know how to count. Okay.
I mean, I agreed with you, so I don't know how to count either. So
yeah,
So I don't
Any-
know.
Anyway, do you want to give a heart attack to a pregnant woman? Because that's what we're about to do right here.
Remember when we were a good person in this town?
I mean, I suppose it's cathartic for the people who hate it. You
This
get
is
to
true.
terrorize the area a little bit for fun. Which,
I mean,
I
that
used to be Link,
literally
goat
me.
wrangler. Now I am wolf, goat fucker.
Oh no!
wait, what?
Here.
What, you mean I don't have to do that? No!
Wait,
Oh,
is
you
that
see-
like concept sketches on the wall?
No, I think that's supposed to be Colin's drawings. You see, that's what I love about doing these playthroughs is you notice crap that you've never seen before in your life. And
Is that only in this version, or is that in the original?
if it might have been in the original, just harder to see because it's but yeah, it's like him and his mom and his dad, and then there's Link with the sword. Oh, that's cute.
Adorable.
I always love it when they have children's drawings in any video game. Like,
Okay, but also that's really good children's drawings. Colin's like what, 5 years old?
well, it's better than my drawing right now, so
Why are you not, little frog? Why aren't you chilling for beer?
I like how this frog's animation loop just includes a full inflation of his underpouch thing with every single breath.
That's his lungs. Don't judge him.
I know. It's just like he's bobbing up and down, and with every bob up and down, it fully inflates and then deflates.
He's showing off because the big scary Wolfman's here, and he's doing that to ward off predators.
It's just like I like it because that's completely the wrong way to animate that kind of frog. It would kind of be rapidly going in and out in a fairly irregular pattern, not very slowly at the same rate with every single animation cycle.
It's a Zelda frog. It's a Zelda frog. That's where his lungs are. Different anatomy.
Hey, Forest Spirit, do you have to pause after every 2 words?
It's probably hyperventilating.
I mean, probably, yeah. So anyway, I guess we were brought here to be caught by random shadow people. I don't know how they find you anyway. Are they just oh yeah,
you probably reek of Twilight.
Well, yeah, but then why do they only drop on me in random places? Why doesn't Zant just drop 50,000 of them
Maybe
all
the
at once?
GPS signal sucks.
Oh, that's true.
This is 2006.
Siri, locate Link, hero of time. Did you mean Link, hero of goats? No.
Did you mean Lunk from Pennsylvania?
Did you mean Link the Goron? Okay.
I will book your hotel room.
There is 2. Yeah, you're right. There are 2 links in that game. You're right.
So, okay, this was the first of many little sections where we had to fight those Twilight monsters in order to unlock warp gates. Fortunately, this time we only had to take down 1, so we could fight normally. They have this kind of awkward thing, though, where every time you encounter these things, you have to use the, sort of dash attack, where you have to catch all the enemies at once with that one attack, and if you can't, well, the fight goes on forever. Which, it's not hard, but it is kind of annoying, because you always have to approach the fight basically the same way. And, there's really no choice as to how you approach that combat situation.
Oh, you're a big goat. I'm gonna wrangle the shit out of you.
Yeah, dude, you wrangle the spirit. It just starts running around menacingly.
Yeah, he just keeps running around him and whooping.
The animal spirit part of the mythology that came out of nowhere in this game, what do you think of it?
It functionally doesn't mean much of anything in context of the game.
Would you rather have this or the Great Fairies from Ocarina of Time?
The Great Fairies are in this game.
Well, it's more like, okay, suddenly we have these spirits that we can, contact for help and all of that. But, where were they before this, and where are they after this?
Yeah, they kind of confuse me a little bit, because they do seem to be, their own separate, segment, and they don't really fit in with anything else, so it always struck me as a little bit weird, but they look cool, so I can kind of forgive it.
The most of the Twilight stuff doesn't ever get brought back up ever again anyway, so it makes sense to me that this wouldn't be much of an exception, because they don't ever want to bring up, because the way the game ends, they try to keep the Twilight stuff from coming back.
Yeah, that's the Twilight stuff, right? Though. These spirits are native to Hyrule.
Twilight.
Yeah, these light spirits are native to Hyrule, and if it were some separate region of the world, like the regions you visit in the Oracle games or Majora's Mask, then having these one-off spirit things that never come back or never have appeared before would make more sense in terms of the story. But here we have these semi-almighty light spirits that belong to fairly regular regions of Hyrule, and they're just never addressed anywhere else, even though all the games take place in the same geographical location.
Well, I don't know, maybe they're taking a nap. A 4-game long nap.
They're taking a nap, and they took their mystical fountains with them. Okay.
I mean, I guess also, we don't really hear much about the 3 goddesses anymore either, so, I wouldn't really expect it to carry over between game to game. I just do think it's kind of weird that they just made them up on the spot for this game.
I was going to say the different... Sorry, go on, John.
The three goddesses were eventually just made into one, which was Hylia. I think
Yeah.
starting with
Skyward
Sword.
Which I found really bizarre because didn't they ruin for Aura have been a thing since more or less Link to the Past?
Yeah, there are whole
They weren't
games about them.
they weren't addressed by name, but they were mentioned to be
Yeah, they were
multiple
mentioned.
goddesses.
Yeah.
There's probably some, in lore explanation for why the three goddesses became the one goddess, or vice versa.
I
The
don't
writer for
remember
Skyward
anything.
Sword didn't like previous continuity to change
Yeah,
it,
but
that's
if you
why.
think about but here's the thing: if you think about it continuity-wise, they kind of split between being one goddess and multiple goddesses because Skyward Sword's supposed to be I can't believe I know this much about Zelda timelines. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Skyward Sword is supposed to be the first game, but the universe was created by three goddesses. So three goddesses, then one goddess. Then they go back to three for Ocarina of Time, three
And
for
a
a
bunch-
couple
and a
of
bunch of-
games,
and a
and
bunch
then
of
in
other
Breath of the
games.
Wild,
There's
it's
one
one
goddess
again.
again.
Yeah.
So, what the heck?
I mean, also,
Timeline's
I guess you could
dumb.
argue that, like, there's probably, eons and eons between each game or whatever, so, people's opinions about these things change.
You can somewhat ignore the weird writing inconsistency with the goddesses because there are these distant deity figures that don't factor into anything directly much. The spirits are entities that appear before you and speak with you directly as a character, which is why them appearing out of nowhere here and then just disappearing after this game kind of feels weird.
They probably would have just used the goddesses anyway if they had only 3 areas, but there's 4, so.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.